Good morning. Today in Save Me a Seat, we will be starting with chapter 36. So this is chapter 36 in Save Me a Seat. And here we are with Joe. Now, previously on Save Me a Seat, I'm going to let you think about it. What happened previously? I'm going to read you the last little bit of the previous chapter. I can't decide where to start. It's all really good. I'll read you the whole last paragraph. As I walk back to my seat, my heart feels lighter. This is Ravi. It seems things are finally looking up for me in America, but my gratitude is interrupted when I see Bigfoot sitting at his desk, staring into the empty bowl in front of him. He looks so sad, and I'm not so selfish enough that I've forgotten about the insulting cartoon or what I saw Dylan Samreen take from the little glass dish on Bigfoot's desk. This is my chance. This is my chance to redeem myself for the unkind way I treated Ramaswamy at Vidya Mandir, and for all the toes I've already stepped on at Albert Einstein Elementary School. My chance to set things right. I reach into my desk and I feel around with my fingers until I find what I'm looking for, and then I put it in my pencil box for safekeeping until the moment is right. And I asked you to think about what you thought that object was. So hold that prediction that you made in your head. Chapter 36, Joe. We're going to play a little guessing game, Mrs. Beam explains. The goal is to match up the objects sitting on the desks with the sentences in the basket. Great. I've only been at school for 15 minutes and my day's already in the toilet. I look at the empty dish. No one is going to be able to match it with the sentence that I wrote. Not in a million years. Ravi is busy unwrapping his package. I'm curious to see what's inside. So I lean to my left so I can watch him. The brown paper is held on with about 1 million pieces of Scotch tape. When he finally gets it off, there's another layer of newspaper underneath, and under that, a layer of tin foil and a lot more Scotch tape. Before we start, Mrs. Bean tells us, I'd like you all to quietly make your way around the room, familiarizing yourself with the objects on each of the desks, and I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then we'll begin our game. Miss Frost always says the best place to start is at the beginning, so I go over to the first desk in the first row. Amy Yamaguchi brought a teddy bear, or at least I think that's what it is. It's a little hard to tell because it's gray and it doesn't have any stuffing left in it. Not only that, the face is completely worn off. Whatever it is, it's ancient and probably doesn't smell too good up close. Some of the other girls brought in stuffed animals too, or girly stuff like charm bracelets and flavored chapstick. A lot of boys picked video games or sports stuff, including Tom O'Toole, whose personal reflection object is his own front tooth. Everyone knows the story. He knocked out his tooth last winter sliding into a goalpost during a hockey game. Even though there was blood gushing out of his mouth, he still managed to score the winning goal, which is how his picture ended up on the front page of the Hamilton Herald with a caption under it that said, "Plucky local kid just won't quit." I'm about to start walking down the next row of desks when I hear Lucy Mulligan scream. Mrs. Bean goes running over to see what's wrong, and pretty soon there's a big crowd of kids standing around Ravi's desk. Uh-oh. This is one of those times being taller than everyone comes in handy because I can see right over their heads. Ravi has finally finished unwrapping his package. Sitting on the desk is a glass jar filled with cruddy-looking water, and swimming around in that cruddy-looking water are 3 long, slimy, black... Next chapter, Ravi. Leeches, I say, as everyone leans closer to see what I have in my jar. Yesterday, Paripa and I took a walk together. Do you remember that when Paripa says, "Come with me, I want to show you something"? Do you remember that? Yesterday, Paripa and I took a walk together. Where are we going? I asked him. You'll see, he said. Ever since we moved to New Jersey, Paripa has been very quiet. He eats his meals without a word and then goes and sits on the sofa to chew his betel nuts and read his newspapers. But yesterday, As we walked together, he had a lot to say. "What's this I hear about you wanting to quit school?" he says. "Nobody likes me," I told him. "They all think I smell bad." "It doesn't matter what they think. Quitting is not an option." "I know," I said. "Papa told me." "Well, that's because I told your father that same thing when he was a boy. And someday you'll have children of your own and you'll tell them too. Quitting is not an option." "You don't understand," I said. "Nobody does." For a while, we just walked in silence. "Do you know that in India, tea has to be plucked by hand, Ravi?" my grandfather said finally. 3 leaves and a bud, right from the very top of the tea bush. And the tea pluckers pick their tender shoots and drop them into baskets that hang from their heads. When I was a young man, my first job was to work at the tea plantation. I had to stand in the rain and guard the workers, protecting them from wild animals that might be lurking nearby. "What kind of wild animals?" I asked, but my grandfather didn't answer. Instead, he took me by the hand and led me through the tall grass to the edge of the pond Amma and Parima were always warning me not to go near. "What are we doing here?" I asked. Again, my grandfather didn't answer. He bent his knees and crouched down, careful not to let his veshti touch the muddy ground. I crouched down beside him and watched as he dipped the tea strainer in the water and began dragging it very slowly through the weeds at the edges of the pond. 2 times he pulled the strainer out and we peered in at only dirt and dead leaves. But on the 3rd try, his efforts were met with success. 3 long, black, worm-like creatures wriggled in the strainer. "We used to call them Draculas in disguise," Paripa told me. "The tea plantations were infested with them during the monsoon season. They were much larger than these skinny fellows, but these will have to do." "Do for what?" I asked. "Well, Parima told me about your assignment." "The assignment is to find something that represents who I am," I told my grandfather. "Do you think I'm a leech?" Paripa laughed and pulled a small glass jar from his pocket. "Fill this up to the top," he said, and handing it to me. When I had finished filling the jar to the top with water, he dropped the leeches in, closed the cap, and tightened it. "These leeches are a reminder of who we are and where we've come from, Ravi, and of all the hardships we've endured just to get here." I thought about our house in Bangalore and my friends back at Vidya Mandir, especially Pramod. I thought about the way things used to be, the way I used to be. "I don't know who I am anymore, Paripa," I told my grandfather. "You are Ravi Suryanarayanan," my grandfather said, putting his arm around me and pulling me close. "And the Suryanarayanans never give up. We work hard against all odds and believe in ourselves." Who would have thought that I, a small tea plantation owner, would be able to send his son to a fine university and to help bring his whole family to live in America too? But that is what happened. "I miss Bangalore," I said softly. "Me too, but you will have many more opportunities here." "It doesn't feel like home," I said. "Give it time," said Paripa, reaching for my hand. "Come, Ravi. Amma and Parima are waiting. If we stay out any longer, they'll think we've been carried off by that terrible wind Parima is always complaining about." Everyone in room 506 is still crowded around my desk, trying to get a good look at the leeches. The time is right, so I open my pencil box and take out the blue candy, the one Miss Frost gave me in the resource room just 2 days ago. I put it in my desk and forgot all about it until this morning. Now, this little blue candy is about to play the starring role in my big plan. I look around to make sure no one is watching, and then I place the candy right in the glass dish on Bigfoot's desk. And that's the end of the chapter. Chapter 38, Joe. I can't believe my eyes. I actually blink a couple of times to make sure I'm not seeing things. Is there really a blue peanut M&M sitting in the glass dish on my desk? The answer is yes, but what's weird is that it's not the same one I brought from home. I'm positive. That was a single. This is a double. Those are rare, especially the blue ones, which is how I know exactly who put it there. And that's where we're going to stop for today. Isn't that a great ending? Do you think that Joe and Ravi are going to become friends? Yeah. So I want your prediction not to be that. That seems a bit obvious. How do you suppose they're going to become friends? In your imagination, how does that play out? Think about that. All right. Until next time.